Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about how to interpret a scatter plot. You should know how to create these. If not, I believe we will take a little bit of time later on to be able to develop that. But right now, we're just going to be able to read it. So the scatter plot is something where you got a bunch of points. It doesn't really make a graph itself. It's just a bunch of plotted points, and they're kind of scattered, hence the name scatter plot. Now, the scatter plot over here is restaurant sandwiches, and we're talking about calories and fat grams. So the scatter plot at the left shows the amounts of fat in grams and the number of calories in 12 restaurant sandwiches. So if we count all the dots, we should get 12. How many calories are in the sandwich that contains 17 grams of fat? So we're going to come down here, we're going to find fat, and that's our x-axis. So we're going to look for 17. These are going by 5, so 17 would be right around in here. So I'm going to kind of look up. If there's more than one dot, you're going to have to try and figure out which one it is. So reasonably, 15 would be here, 20 would be here. That means halfway is here. 17 is just under halfway, so this should be it. We're lucky that's the only point that's actually here, but if there were others, like up here, we'd have to try and figure out which one's which. Now here, we find here's about 17, so we go up, and then we find that it's 400 calories. So how many calories are in a sandwich? 400 calories. If you think about it, reading a scatter plot is nothing more than kind of undoing the plotting that was already done. So we go right, then up, and then here's the undoing part. So that gets us our point, that gets our plot. What undoes it is we go back to here, and we undo that, or we undo the over because we go back over and it tells us our answer. Now, how many grams of fat are in the sandwich that contains 600 calories? So instead of reading right, because these are fat, I'm going to be reading on the left. 3, 350, 4, 450, 5, 550, 600. So we're looking for that magic number, 600. By the way, I'm going to go back and go ahead and box that in. 600 calories. So I find 600. So again, we're going to find the plot of it. I'm going to go over on the 600. Hopefully there's nothing else. If there is, we just list every single one that matches with 600. Here, there's only one. And so we go here. And now we're going to just look down, straight down. As these get more complicated, you might actually need something like your ID badge to be able to go straight down and see what that number might be. Here, we don't need it because we were able to just follow the grid. And that means there's 30 grams of fat. The last question, I'm just going to have to kind of move up. And it's asking, what tends to happen to the number of calories as the number of grams of fat increases? In other words, as we move right, what's happening to calories? Is it going up, down, or staying the same? Anytime it's asking some kind of relation, it really comes down to 3 things. Is it increasing, is it decreasing, or is it staying the same? The relationship here is as fat is increasing, so as we're going right, it's not that we're staying the same. We're actually increasing. We can actually see that if we kind of do this. You know, it kind of looks like that kind of graph if we were not to connect all the dots, but to try and draw one line. So what tends to happen is the number of calories of grams of increases. Calories tend to increase. Now, the reason we want to use the word tend in our response is here we went, I'd say that's about 33, but then we went down in calories at 39. Obviously, 39 is greater than 33, but 610 is less than 640. Let's just throw those numbers out there. So we actually decreased here. We don't always increase. We didn't even increase here. We stayed the same. So we tend to increase our calories as the grams of fat increase. If you have any questions, make sure to write those down. Pause the video, write down the notes as they exist here. Again, I'm going to show you A and B, how we drew it over here, and then you can sit here and here's my answer for C. Write those questions down that you have by looking at it, something that didn't make sense, something that you had a question about, you think you got it, no big deal, bring it all in. We'll work on it tomorrow. You can now work on 9.1.1. in your on your lessons here. And again, guys, you have to understand it's always about the process, it's always about the understanding, and it's never about the answer. We'll see you tomorrow.